YouTube. Time of me streaming at this time of the day actually, so I'm not sure how it's going to work, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Okay. So let me get my notes. Yay. Let me just turn this down. Right, so lovely to see you all. I'm just getting my notes. So, greetings everybody, June Allen here, your racial sobriety mentor from juneallen.net, and I teach black women how to heal from addiction to self-hate with racial sobriety and personal empowerment. So racial sobriety is all about being able to love yourself and to be able to accept yourself without apology, no matter what, accept yourself without apology, no matter what everyone else is saying or what anyone else is doing, you still love yourself, you still able to connect to yourself. So that's basically what I do. So for those of you that don't know my story, let me just explain a little bit about myself. So I myself have been addicted to self-hate for many years, and I went into 12-step recovery in 2009. Because I kept finding myself in these addictive relationships. I found it very, very difficult to celebrate myself, to accept myself. And the 12-step recovery process gave me a wonderful opportunity to learn about why I felt like that. What happened in my life, to be honest about what happened to me, so that I could begin to go through a process of healing. What I learned through the recovery process was that there was not really a space for a cultural context. So, through reading lots of books, through doing courses, through therapy, starting my own training as a psychotherapist, I learned that a lot of the reason why I hated myself was because of the impact of racism, ancestral, current stuff that was going on in my own family, and also what I'd absorbed myself just from living under the system of racism currently. So what was empowering about all of that is that I was able to use what I learned in recovery and combine that with what I learned from and read and understood from a cultural context, and then create something for you. Create something for you so you don't have to go through all of the stuff that I went through looking for different things to be able to help you to heal. Because a lot of the times we understand the external part of it. We know that racism is here. We know that that we are impacted by it at some level, but we don't understand the internal process. We don't understand our response to it. So what I've done, or what the Art of Greatness is about helping you understand your own internal process so that you can begin to really start to do the healing for yourself. So that in a nutshell is what I do. And today's topic is all about the ultimate to-do list for black self-love. The ultimate to-do list for black self-love. I'm so excited about sharing this with you because, it came to me a little while back. Actually, my business coach did something similar, and that was kind of the inspiration for me doing this one. She did one on, the ultimate guide for business or something like that. And I just thought, wow, I could do something very similar, but obviously put my own spin on it and apply it to the healing process. So that's the reason why I wanted to do that topic for you today. But there's going to be some great stuff in it. So if you know anybody that's going to be interested, or may be interested in this topic, please share it with them. Share it with them, tag them, let them know. Tell them about, the Art of Greatness. Tell them about what you've heard from me. If you already know about my work and stuff like that, then that'd be great. That'd be great if you could just let them know, give them an opportunity to start their own process. Don't be selfish and keep it all to yourself. Share it with your friends. Share it with those that you think might need it. So sharing is caring and all that. So thank you for those of you that do share it. And they continue to watch as well. So thank you for that. Right, okay. So before I get really into the content, while you're sharing and tagging and doing all that stuff, I'm going to do a bit of housekeeping. So housekeeping, let's have a look now. So this Saturday is the Sacred Sister Circle, the book club, the Bell Hooks book club. And I love this space so much. It's really become quite a sacred space. I mean, it is called the Sacred Sister Circle, but it really has become quite a sacred space for me because I love connecting with people one on one. I love connecting with people in person. So it's been really good. It's been really, really nice. Excuse me. Being able to connect with ladies one on one and to start to do the healing work with them. So it's not just like an ordinary book club. Yes, we come together and we read the book. The book that we're studying is Bell Hooks, Sisters of the Yam, Black Women and Self-Recovery. And you can find out more about the book and the book club and stuff like that by clicking the link. If you go to heal.juneallen.net and click the link, which is about, it says about, go to the Sister Circle, then you'll find all of the details on there about what you can do and a bit more detail about the book club and stuff like that. But it's not an ordinary book club. It is, yes, we read the book and we read a chapter of the book inside the session. And then we have, we share on it, but you also learn about the characteristics of self-hate. You also learn about the tools of sacred self-love and the tools for empowerment and then the promises of sacred self-love. So not only are you really understanding the book, but you're also given the opportunity to be able to learn some deeper things about yourself if you resonate with it. And, a lot of times other people are sharing about, how they feel about the tools, how they feel about the characteristics of self-hate. Do they recognize those behaviors in themselves? Do they recognize those behaviors in their family members and stuff like that? So it's an opportunity for you to really be able to dig into doing this work. And not only do you have the opportunity to learn about those things in the actual session itself, you also get heart work. You get homework, which I like to call heart work. And the heart work is kind of like a list of questions that are extracted and inspired by the chapter that we read. And you get that as a PDF included in this, not in this session, I email it to you afterwards. And then we get to continue the conversation afterwards. So whether you are, wherever you are, you get an opportunity to get the PDF and you just get an opportunity to dig in. So wherever you are on your healing process, whether you've just started or whether you've been in for a while, even if you've not been to any of the workshops before, you can still jump in. You can still jump in and actually start wherever, because we're not just talking about the book. There is also going to be an opportunity for you to be able to get, some information about the previous sessions that we've done, because, and again, this is all in the link in the description, heal.juneallen.net. Where I talk about, you get an audio from the previous sessions, along with the heart work that I've supplied to the ladies from the previous sessions. So if you need to catch up, or if you've missed any weeks, or you want to just, get some idea to what else has been discussed and stuff like that, then if you go to heal.juneallen.net, you'll find all the information as well around the previous sessions that we've had, and you can catch up. So that's that. So that's number one for the housekeeping. Number two is... so this month was my 50th birthday and I had a really, really nice time, and I'm still kind of doing a few bits and pieces as well, which is really good. I've still got a few dates and stuff to go on with friends and stuff like that. So I'm really enjoying being 50, and I had a lovely time last week, and just thank you all so much for your wonderful messages. I had such an amazing time and still having a lovely time and kind of celebrating as well. So thank you to everyone who sent me out all my sent emails and messages and stuff like that. I really, really appreciate it. But what I actually wanted to give you as part of my birthday gift to you is I actually created an item called Freedom 50. And what it is, it's 50 different things that are going to inspire you, that are going to help you to heal, that are going to, the lessons, I share 10 lessons on what I've learned over the 50 years as part of my healing process and how that really helped. I share 10 of my favourite live streams, all about self-love. So you're going to get them all in a little package. What else did I share? Gosh, there's so many things in there. But if you go to heal.juneallen.net, you'll find all of the details in there. There's loads of stuff in there as well about what I eat. People always say to me when I tell them that I'm 50, oh, there's nowhere that you're 50, don't look it, and all that kind of stuff. So there's loads of stuff in there as well about, the secrets to what I've, how I've kept so young, and my wellness practices and all that kind of stuff. So all of that is in there as well. So go and have a little look, check it out, and let me know what you think. So that's housekeeping number 2. The last one, housekeeping number 3, is all about, we've got the holidays coming up. We've got the holidays coming up, and, you know, it's a very anxious time for a lot of people, knowing, you know, not really knowing what to do, how to manage it, you know, going back and seeing family members that maybe you don't want to see and all of that kind of stuff. So it can be quite a stressful time. So what I wanted to do is give you an opportunity to send me your messages, send me your questions about what you struggle with around the holidays. And then what I'm going to do as a result of that is I'm going to create some live streams, some, you know, some tools, some tips, things like that, to be able to help you get through that period of the year. So let me know. You can email me info@yardofgreatness.com. You can just DM me, actually. It's easier. Just direct message me and let me know if what you want to do. So that's the housekeeping. So I'm just going to hope you like my cup. Yes, I matter. You do matter. You matter. Hello. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. So I'm going to reset and then I'm going to start going through the list. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is June Allen from juneallen.net, and I teach Black women how to heal from the impact of racism with racial sobriety and personal empowerment. So racial sobriety is your ability to love yourself, to love on yourself without apology. So that's what I teach. So today's topic is all about the ultimate to-do list for Black self-love. The ultimate to-do list for Black self-love. So, number 1, let's jump in. Number 1 is do it first. Do it first. You've got to make Black self-love a priority. You've got to make it a priority in your life. It's so easy to get caught up doing lots of other things or getting caught up in the expectations of other people that quite often you forget that you forget your own needs. You just get caught up in what everybody else expects you to do and what everybody else wants you to do, especially if you're a mum and you're an entrepreneur, and you've got all these different hats that you're trying to juggle all at once. It's very hard. It's very hard to kind of keep it as a priority. But what I remind myself of is that quite often, if I let go of that, of not prioritizing my well-being, somewhere down the line I get burnt out. And it often takes me to get to burnout before I kind of remember that, oh, okay, I haven't really been putting myself first this week. I've been doing other things, or, you know, getting caught up with other conversations. So it is so important to remember to prioritize it. Prioritize it. So when you wake up in the morning, don't think about anything else that you need to be doing. It's okay. What do I need today? What does my wellness need to teach me today? What do I need to do for myself today around wellness? So make it a priority. Yeah, that's number 1. Number 2 is do it slowly. Do it slowly. That means taking baby steps. That means That means not rushing it. Quite often, and I've had this conversation with so many people, they're almost like, they're afraid that it's going to kind of plunge them into this sea of pain and trauma and all of this kind of stuff. And, you know, there will be times when it feels you might get a little bit overwhelmed. But that's why it's important to take it slowly. Take it slowly and take it gently, so that you're not just kind of, you don't knock yourself out with it. You don't knock yourself out with what needs to be done, you know, with what you need to be doing with yourself. So take it really, really slowly, so you have an opportunity to get present to what's happening. Because if you're busy and you're trying to do all of this, you're not going to learn anything, because you're in the busyness and you're doing it from a place of fear, because you're trying to do it really quickly to kind of get it over with, rather than do it from a place of presence, where you know you're going to be able to learn and understand what's actually happening, not just, you know, at an emotional level, but what happens to your body, what happens to, you know, how do you behave when you're in certain situations or in certain feeling states. You know, you're not going to be able to learn any of that if you're doing it really quickly. So it is really, really important to take your time and do it with baby steps, because you'll get so much more out of it. You're going to get so much more out of it if you do it like that. Yeah? So that is number 2. Do it slowly. Number 3 is do it with feeling. Do it with feeling. And that's kind of linked into what I was saying before about, you know, doing it slowly, because when your feelings are there and when your feelings come up, because they will come up as you heal, because that's part of being human. You can't expect to go through a process like this, a process of healing, and not feel anything. And sometimes it might feel uncomfortable because maybe you're not used to being in a place where you are healing. You might not be used to being in that space, where things feel so raw, because obviously, it's a common survival technique for a lot of us is to stay numb, to push our feelings down and to kind of suppress what we really think and feel about things, because either it wasn't safe for us to express those things, or we're just not used to, we just don't understand it. And I know I fell into that camp. I was one of those people that I didn't want to feel anything because I didn't want to, I just felt overwhelmed. And on the other hand, it just wasn't, I didn't have a lot of safe spaces before I started doing this work. I didn't have any safe spaces to be able to talk about this stuff, and that felt really safe for me. So, yeah, but when you do start to feel more comfortable feeling stuff, and you do have a safe space to feel comfortable, it's such a relief. It's such a relief to be able to honour those feelings when they do come up. And that's really how the process of self-love really becomes a habit. It really becomes a habit when you start to give yourself permission, finding a safe space and giving yourself permission to start to feel these things. That is really, really, really important to be able to heal, to be able to, let go of the past. That's the only way that things are really going to change, by you giving yourself permission to be able to feel. One of the things that I tell a lot of my clients is that you heal by feeling. You heal by feeling. You heal by feeling. If you're not willing to feel it, nothing's going to change. You're not going to heal anything. You're not going to heal anything. So that is number 3. Feelings are important. Yeah? Do it with feeling. Number 4 is do it scared. Do it scared. Now, doing it scared, again, it linked into what I was saying earlier about people being afraid of being overwhelmed, afraid they won't be, people get scared because they don't think they're going to be able to handle what comes up, not going to be able, especially when it comes to things like anger and shame. Difficult feelings like that are very, very difficult to contain when so much of it has been suppressed, But doing it scared is something that you're going to have to get used to it, because there's no growth without fear. There is no growth without fear. Yeah, there is no growth without fear. I'm going to write that one down. It's actually a really good one. Yeah, you can't grow if you're scared. If you're not scared, the whole thing about growing is things feeling unfamiliar. Things feeling unfamiliar, stuff that you're not used to. It's stepping out of your comfort zone, stepping out of a way of being that you're just not used to. And if you think about how we've been under the system of racism, or maybe you've been in a family that was dysfunctional where you weren't allowed to speak up, when you do finally start doing that, it's quite scary. It is quite scary to be able to come out from that place and to start to have a voice and to have an opinion and to start to define your own God and to define your own values and all of those types of things. That type of stuff is really difficult, and it's really it's scary when you first start doing it. But what happens when you really start to take ownership of those things, even though you're scared, there's a kind of a self-respect that comes in. Hi, thanks for joining. There's a new level of self-respect that comes in when you really start to take ownership of the things that you really want and the things that you really need. And so even though you're scared doing it, the fear doesn't last for long. The fear gets less because you begin to understand and accept the joy that comes with having your own thoughts and feelings, and loving yourself. Loving yourself becomes more the priority rather than trying to please the other person. You want to please the other person less, and you're taking care of yourself a lot more. And that sort of level of confidence and self-respect that you start to build within yourself, that becomes the dominant part of who you are. And so doing it scared, it's only sort of become the window of being scared gets less. So you might be a little bit scared in the, before you do it, you're a bit anxious, and then maybe after you do it, you might get a little bit scared as to how the other person or somebody else might react at you kind of taking steps to take care of yourself. But that won't last for long. That won't last for long, because loving yourself ultimately is it's gonna change so much. When you start to love yourself more internally, your world externally is going to change. That's how it works. That's how the universe operates. You start to love yourself, and then you start getting loads of other love starts to ooze out of the other parts of your life, and that in of itself is really beautiful. It's really, really beautiful. Really beautiful. Hi, thanks for joining. For those of you that have just joined, my name is June Allen from juneallen.net, and I teach Black women how to heal from the impact of racism with racial sobriety and personal empowerment. So today's topic is all about the ultimate to-do list for Black self-love. The ultimate to-do list for Black self-love. And we're up to number 3, which was, number 4, which was doing it scared. So you do it scared. Even if you feel scared, you still do it. You still make choices to do things that they're gonna make you feel respected, that build your self-esteem, that build your self-respect, So that's number 4, do it scared. Number 5 is do it regardless. Now this is quite a big one, and it's kind of linked to do it scared, because what tends to happen when you start to love yourself and make different choices that are linked to loving yourself, people will come out of the woodwork and start saying things about, well, why are you doing it that way? And why are you starting to do this? And what, you don't do that for me anymore, and you've changed, and who does she think, everyone's going to have an opinion. People will have, those close to you will have an opinion about how you've changed and what you're doing and all the rest of it. And so it's important to do it regardless. Yeah, it's important to think about, what is your why? What is your why? Why are you doing this? Why are you healing? Why are you going through this healing process? Once you understand the reasons why you need to go through your healing process, then it doesn't really matter what anyone else says. You will carry on regardless. For me, it was having a child. For me, it was having my daughter. I did not want my daughter to have a challenging relationship with me, just like the relationship I had with my mum. Very, very difficult relationship. I didn't want my daughter to have the same dynamic. And so it was that fear that kept me going. It was that fear that kept me going back to the recovery meetings. It was that fear that kept me searching for therapists and finding the right therapist and reading the next book and all of these types of things that just kept me really plugged in to the healing process and being committed and just committed and willing to keep looking, even when I couldn't find what I was looking for. When I couldn't find what I was looking for, I was just on to the next thing, and looking for, looking on another website or looking in another directory for somebody else that could help me with how can I love myself? Please show me how I can love myself. Please show me, help me understand what it means for me as a Black woman. Help me understand it. Show me how to do it. What do I need to do? How often do I need to do it? These are all really important things that your why, understanding why you need to stay on the healing path is so important. And it might seem weird, why do you want to love yourself? Why do you want to know? Because there's so many things that are anti-Black and that kind of disrupt the natural process of us being able to love ourselves, that we need to be intentional about it. It's important for us to be really intentional about understanding what self-love means to us, and then doing these things that are going to create esteem. In order to have good self-esteem, you have to do esteemable things. It's important to define those things, to be clear about what those things are, and to try new things. Keep trying new things, and then be conscious of how they make you feel. If you're not used to doing things that are esteemable or things to do around self-love, you might not know what you want. You might not know what your needs are, but you just have to go out there and try loads of different things. you know, and see how you feel about it. And this is one of the reasons why in the workshop that I'm going to be doing this Saturday, having a list of the promises, the promises of sacred self-love is so important, because people need to have some little benchmarks as to how they can think about, well, how do I know that I love myself? How do I know if I'm doing it right? How do I know if it feels like what it feels like? You know, and you're not going to understand it until you're in a situation where somebody's actually showing you, you know, or giving you an opportunity to try different things and say different things for you to be able to identify. Oh yeah, I identify with that. Yeah. I did feel really good about myself when I did that. You know, so the workshop, having those 12 promises of sacred self-love is a really great way to be able to define that for yourself. You know, we even do at the beginning, we do the characteristics of self-hate. How do you know if you love yourself if you don't know what self-hate looks like, what black self-hate looks like? So not only do I talk about self-hate, but I also share about these things in a cultural context, so you understand it from a place of knowing what it means under the system of racism. And it can be the external way, and also internalized as well, be it internalized in your head, how you talk to yourself, or internalized like being in your family of origin. You know, how does it play out within your family? So that's why this workshop that I'm doing this Saturday is so important, because it's important for me to understand the context of self-love, and then for people to be able to make their own choices about what is important for them, and and understanding their own process around self-love. So if you're interested in coming to the workshop, I'd love to see you there. If you go to heal.juneallen.net, the link is in the description. You can find out a lot more information there. Just click the link that talks about the Sacred Sister Circle, and then it will take you straight to that page. Right, so that's number 5, do it regardless. Number 6 is do it with others. Do it with others. There's so many different ways that you can do it with others. And loving yourself, at the end of the day, you've got to remember that humans are we're not meant to be, we're not alone, we're not supposed to do this stuff by ourselves. You know, humans are very much, we need communities. And having a community that is safe for you to be able to talk about this stuff, to share about this stuff without judgment, without shaming, without feeling, guilty about sharing. Because quite often, the ladies often, my mentees and stuff, they talk about a lot of the internalized stuff that happens within their families. Not a lot of the time, we're not talking about what white supremacy is doing to us. We're talking about how the people that look like us have hurt us, and sometimes that can bring up feelings of guilt and shame around, almost feel like, and you're not allowed to have those conversations about people that look, people in our families and stuff like that. So it is important, to do this stuff with other people. And it's not like we get together either in kind of, slag off our parents, or, it's not like that either. And neither is it a place to kind of come there and just kind of dump all the victim stuff. That it's not like that. It's about living in the solution. Ultimately, the workshop is about living in the solution. It's about helping you understand your own process, helping you understand your own pain, number one, and to define it. What does it look like for you? And then once you're able to define your own pain, then you are given tools to actually help you work through that stuff. And actually, doing this stuff with others, doing the internal work with others is such a powerful thing, because number one, you understand that you're not the only one. And I can't tell you how many times I hear people say that to me, either when I'm sharing stuff on my broadcast, or whether I'm sharing stuff in the sister circle, or in the Facebook group, or whatever it is. And people say it to me, and they say it to each other as well. They thought that they were the only one that felt a certain way about something, They think they're the only people that are going through feeling certain things, and it's just not true. It's just not true. And that adds to the isolation. That adds to the isolation around the healing process. And it also feeds the shame. Because you think, oh no, I can't really feel that. I shouldn't really think about that about this family member or that family member, because, you know, I'm sure I'm the only one that thinks like that. So having a really, really safe space to be able to do that with other people and to be able to identify with other people is a really powerful tool for, number one, healing, and number two, learning how to love yourself. Because love yourself often means, you know, letting go of the secrets that are keeping you unwell, letting go of the secrets that are keeping you trapped in your own shame and guilt, and your own, you know, keeping other people's secrets is one of the ways that we continue to stay unwell. You know, keeping other people's secrets is not good for us. It really isn't good for us. And a lot of us are so used to it that it almost becomes normal to us, you know, to do that. And it's just not healthy. It's just not healthy. So, you know, doing it with others and finding a safe space to be able to do that is so important. So that might mean, you know, for me, you know, it was going to recovery meetings, going to 12-step recovery meetings on a, you know, on a weekly basis, sometimes 2, 3, 4 times, however many times I needed to go, find a meeting, go to the meeting. It could also mean going to see therapists, you know, going to see a black therapist in particular, because that in of itself is going to give you the cultural context. Yeah. It might be that, you know, you're going to a wellness group. The workshop that I'm doing this Saturday is also an opportunity for, you know, for us to come together and talk about this stuff. It's very boundaried, and for you to identify with other people that look like you. So, yeah, there's so many different ways that you can do this. It might be an online group as well. You might have an online space where you share your stuff with people. But yeah, just, you know, it really is an act of self-love, being able to have the courage to just stand up with other people, just stand in your truth with other people, and just allow the truth to you know, be shared where it feels safe. So that is number 6, do it with others. Number 7 is do it again. Number 7 is do it again. What is already working? What is already working as part of your healing process that you can keep doing? What works for you? What are the behaviors? What are the ways that you talk to yourself? What are the things that you're doing at the moment? What are the hobbies that you do? Who are the people? Who are the people in your life that make you feel good about yourself? You know, do it again. Do it again. See those people. You know, do those behaviors. Make a conscious list of what those behaviors of the people, places and things. Make a conscious list of those things. Make a conscious list of those things so that you can begin to be really clear about what is working for you. Do it again. Do it again. Whatever the people, place or thing is, do it again. Connect with those things again so that you can really you can create routines and rituals, and, you know, the more you do it, the more you're going to build self-esteem, and the more you're going to love yourself. Do it again. That's number 7. Number 8 is do it with gratitude. Number 8 is do it with gratitude. So that one is all about just remember that you're here now. You're here now, and you're listening, and you're thinking, and you're reflecting on your life, and you have the opportunity to change the story of your life, and you can do that with gratitude. You can do that by being grateful for being here today and having the opportunity to make a change. You have an opportunity right now in this moment to make a different choice, and nobody can do that for you. Nobody can do that for you, not by changing anybody else, not by begging anybody else. Only you have the power to do that. You have the power to do that, and you can do that by being grateful for the things in your life that you already have. And think about, when I think about gratitude as well, something that I always like to share with people is that sometimes if you just say, oh, I am grateful for, I don't know, a cup of tea. I'm grateful for a cup of tea. What does that actually mean? You know? But when I think about how the cup of tea makes me feel, then I can kind of connect the difference between just saying that I'm grateful and feeling grateful, because then I know the cup of tea, it smells really nice, it's chamomile, so it feels calming, it's warm, so it makes me, I know that it's going to be really nice in my body. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. It's going to make me feel really nice in my body because it's hot. And it's also in my favourite mug. It tells me that I matter. Yeah? It's in my favourite mug that tells me that I matter. So I'm grateful for my cup of tea becomes an experience that I've just spoken out, rather than just saying, from my head, I'm grateful for my cup of tea. It moves the gratitude from here to here, because I know there's been quite a few times where I didn't really understand. I tried to keep gratitude journals and stuff like that, but I didn't really understand why it wasn't working. I was just like, why do I still? I'm just not getting it. I'm just not getting this gratitude thing. I just don't feel any different. But what shifted it was bringing in how I feel about that thing that I'm grateful for. That's where the shift happens, and that's where I felt that my heart was brought into it, and that's what made the difference. That's what made the difference. See, even just thinking about this cup of tea in that context of how it makes me feel, it makes me smile. It makes me smile. So next time you're thinking about gratitude, think about that. Think about how that thing actually makes you feel, and then that's going to completely shift. It's going to completely shift how you feel about certain things, how you feel about those things that you're grateful for. So that's number 8. Do it with gratitude. Number 9 is do it with patience. And there is only 10 of these, by the way. I don't think I said that at the top of the broadcast, but there is only 10. Do it with patience. I cannot stress how important it is to be patient with yourself while you're going through any sort of healing process, because it takes a long time for you to build up all of the dysfunctional kind of reactionary survival technique behaviors that we've built up over the years, be it personally in my life or even some of the ancestral stuff that I'm sure has been passed down. That it's got nothing to do with me in that sense, but I've inherited it. So there's a lot of stuff there that needs to be transformed. There's a lot of unheard things that need to be spoken out, and dealt with in a different way. Because when you're doing this work, a lot of times you're breaking, patterns of behavior and stuff like that have just been passed down from family to generation to generation to generation. So when you're doing that stuff, it is exhausting. It's tiring and it's exhausting, and it can be quite painful at times doing that stuff. Learning about yourself, learning to love yourself, learning to honor yourself, learning to respect yourself. It takes time. It takes time, and it takes energy as well. So this is the reason why patience is such an important part of this process. Just learning to take things a moment at a time. And I did talk about this, earlier on in the broadcast about doing it slowly. But doing it slowly and being patient is two different things, because you can do something really slowly and still be irritated that things aren't going quickly enough, that things are not changing quickly enough. So even though you're doing it slowly, but to be patient is to just do it in God's time as well. Do it in Ra's time, when the ancestors, know that it's time for us to change. It's important to bring all of that into it, and to let go of the outcome, to let go of what you think may or may not happen. That is so important. Hi, thanks for joining. Let me just quickly reset. For those of you that have just joined, my name is June Allen from juneallen.net, and I teach sisters how to heal from the impact of racism with racial sobriety and personal empowerment. So today's topic is all about the ultimate to-do list for Black self-love, and we are on number 9. So you have to go back and watch the replay at the beginning. For those of you that are watching on the replay, because I do have a lot of sisters that have said to me that I don't always come on live, but I like watching the replay. Just know that I hear you and that I see you. I hear you, I see you, I honour you, And if you have any questions or anything like that you want to, something that I speak about in the broadcast that maybe you don't understand, or that you've got a comment or something like that, you can always direct message me. Don't think just because you're watching me on the replay that you don't, that you can't message me or whatever. It's not just about the people that show up live. It's also about the people that, that watch on the replay. So yeah, just, you can still say hello or whatever on the replay if you want to. If not, that's fine as well. Or you can direct message me if you don't want to. If you don't want to ask any questions below in the chat. So yeah, so that is number 9. Do it with patience. And the last one, which is number 10, is do it with love. Do it with love. Whatever you're going to be doing around your self-care, whatever you're doing around your black self-love, whatever you're going to be doing, do it with love. Do it with love. Do it like if you're a mother and you've got a child, and when you take time out for your child to do things, you want to express love to them. You want them to feel love. You want them to feel needed. You want them to feel that they matter. That is what it means to do something with love, and it's about applying the same energy to yourself. Apply that same energy and that logic and that kindness and that gorgeousness, deliciousness. Apply that to yourself. So do it with love. Do it with love. Do it with love. I've got one more actually that I want to share. So actually it's going to be 11. Yeah. The last one, and it just came to me, is do it without apology. Do it without apology. Do not apologize for loving yourself. Do not apologize to any white people. Do not apologize to any black people that think you're too, oh, who did you think you are? Do not apologize to anybody when you start to love yourself, because you matter and you deserve respect and you deserve honor and compassion. You deserve all of those things. You deserve to stand in the truth of your greatness. You deserve to stand in the truth of your greatness. And don't let anybody take that away from you by trying to shame you into silence or shame you into staying small. You don't have to do that. So number 10, you do it with love. And number 11, you do it without apology. Number 11, you do it without apology. Yeah? You do it without apology. So let me just run through the 10 again. So number 1, do it first. Make it a priority. Make your black self-love a priority. Number 2, do it slowly. Do it with baby steps. Number 3 is do it with feeling. You heal by feeling. You heal by feeling. Number 4, do it scared. Do it scared. You feel the energy and you do it anyway. You do it anyway. Number 5 is do it regardless. Do it regardless of who's watching. You do it regardless of who's asking you what you're doing and all the rest of it. You do it regardless because you deserve to be well. You deserve to be racially, emotionally, physically, spiritually sober in your body. You deserve to be able to be in your black body and celebrate it. So that's number 5, do it regardless. Number 6, do it with others. Find a sacred space. Come to the workshop on Saturday, heal.juneallen.net. Come to the workshop on Saturday. Come and share with other sisters. There's only a few. The other thing I forgot to share as well is that there are only, I like to keep the space really intimate and really sacred. So there's only space for 10 ladies and half of those spots have already gone. So if you're available on Saturday, it's 5 minutes from Bond Street Tube, come down. Number 6, do it with others. Number 7, do it again. What's working? What are the practices and behaviours that you do at the moment that really do make you feel respect, that make you feel good about yourself, that build your self-esteem, that make you feel like you are somebody that gives you meaning? What gives you meaning? Be intentional about those things and write them down. And just keep doing them. Keep repeating them. Do them again and again and again and again. Make them part of your daily ritual. Number 7, do it again. Number 8 is gratitude. Just remember how far you've come. And just remember that you wouldn't be on this broadcast listening to me if you weren't, if you hadn't come to a certain stage in your life where you weren't ready to do something about it. So be grateful that you've already come this far. Be grateful that you've already come this far, and you now have an opportunity to do something in the next moment that's going to help you, that's going to empower you. You can make that choice. Number 9 is do it with patience. just remember that healing takes energy, it takes time, it takes money to, to stay on the path. It takes time, it takes money, it takes energy to stay on the path. So be patient with yourself. Be patient with yourself, forgive yourself. If you fall off the horse, get back on. Just keep going. But be patient, be kind, And that is number 10, actually, is doing it with love. Do it with love. Keep loving on yourself. Keep loving on yourself as many times as you need it. Find new ways to love yourself. Try new things. Try new ways. Let go of the old ways that don't serve you, which are not very loving, and just embrace new ones. That's the only way things are going to change, by you making a choice to do something different for yourself. So that's it. That's the 10, your ultimate to-do list for Black self-love. So if you know anybody that, if you found this podcast valuable and useful, share it with your friend. Tell your auntie, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your friend, your sister, your church fellows in recovery, whoever. If you know anybody that you think might get something out of this broadcast, then definitely forward it to them. Forward it to them. If you have any questions about anything that I've shared today, just send me a direct message. I'm just really looking forward to hanging out with you. For those of you that have already got your tickets for Saturday, if not, actually, the last thing is send me a direct message if you're new and you want to try it, because I can give you a little special satin. Yeah? So direct message me if you're new and you would like to Sister Circle on Saturday. And I'd love to see you there. And then you can get a little bit of a taste. I'll give you a little bit of a discount on coming on Saturday, and then you can try it and see if you like it. Yeah? So that's it for today. Thank you for joining me. I don't take for granted how much it means to me. I don't take for granted the fact that you've come to spend time with me and hang out. And I really appreciate it. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I will see you tomorrow, where I'm going to be talking about, there's an Ask June tomorrow. I'm going to be sharing some information about a biracial sister who's been bullied by Black women when she was young. And she wants some guidance around how she can deal with that. How can she heal with other Black women when she was triggered? She's so triggered by other Black women as a biracial woman. So I hope that made sense. So so join me tomorrow, and I'll be sharing some suggestions and tools around that. Okay? All right, so I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.